Christmas Tree Lane has been lighting up more than 100 deodar trees for over a century. The California historic landmark stretches nearly a mile on what is actually Santa Rosa Avenue in Altadena. The association that runs Christmas Tree Lane's annual lighting is made up of volunteers, and they say it's the oldest large-scale Christmas lighting spectacle in Southern California. The beginning of the lane goes back to the start of Altadena. It is said John Woodbury, an early habitant of what we now know as Altadena, had seen the deodar trees on a trip to Italy in the 1880s. He checked with the Department of Agriculture to make sure they would thrive if he were to plant them in California. John's brother, Captain Frederick Woodbury, a retired military officer, germinated the deodar seeds in his backyard. He had a house just off Mariposa, close to Christmas Tree Lane, which was the first home to be built in the area. It's believed John wanted the trees to later line Santa Rosa Avenue, which would have served as his driveway to his estate. But John's mansion was never built when the land boom went bust. The lane was first lit for the holiday season in 1920 with the help of Pasadena Kiwanis and its leader Fred Nash, and thanks to community members raising donations. The lane was eventually popularized by color photo postcards, and that's when the name Christmas Tree Lane began to appear.
To put the lights up, we begin in September, and we typically finish the task somewhere around the beginning of December. We have typically 19 days that the trees are lit.
Tell us what happens here every year for Christmas Tree Lane.
Well, every year the lights go on all at the same time. In this parking lot we have about 38 gift booths and craft booths, and we have 7 food trucks as well.
Wow, so it's a whole event.
It's a whole event. It's the biggest event in Altadena each year.
At the ceremony, I think we've now gauged about 8,000 people. It sort of varies, but as you know, we have with social media apps and stuff that we're here has gotten out further and further and further, so people come from distance to drive through.
Tell us about this tree and the foundation. I know they were very specifically put in.
Well, actually the root system is not very extensive. The fact they're right along these gutters helps because the water that comes along here, when we get rain, seeps in and helps feed them that way. Some of them have been mortared, but most of it is just placed stone. But these are older than the trees and put in by the same Chinese immigrant laborers that helped build the railroads.
In the 1970s, the planning department was planning to put in formal sidewalks, and so that meant removal of the trees. And so the community got together, filed the paperwork for this to be created as a historical landmark to preserve the trees. It's all volunteers from the community.
We have a membership, and so the membership money supports the main function of the lights going up.
In 2000, Southern California Edison and all the private utilities had to restructure their economics and everything. And among the things that happened is that they could no longer fund Christmas Tree Lane. We had to install meters. We inherited a system. There were 50-watt bulbs. The cost for the electricity for that 19 days ended up being about $2,400. And that was a big hit for Christmas Tree Lane. And so conservation became a big, important factor that we recognized when LED bulbs came into practical usage.
These are LED lights. They're plastic rather than glass, which is a savings to us in the attrition rate, but also they're lighter and safer to deal with. But if you look up this tree, there's an electrical box about 20 feet up.
Right.
And we have to put a ladder up there. All of these lights are put up with ropes and pulleys, volunteers hoisting them up, and then we artfully place them on the branches, whatever's dictated by the shape of the tree.
We saw the energy coming down incrementally, and the bill went all the way down to $450. There's always a task for volunteers on Christmas Tree Lane that's within their abilities. Our volunteers range in age from 3 years old to 93 years old. Bulbing up or removing bulbs, stringing out the lights, testing the lights.
The little ones help out a little bit more than the older ones.
We have several children that started off very tiny. They want their children to now experience what they experienced when they were kids.
So after working on Christmas Tree Lane for more than a decade, what sticks out to you most?
Year after year, we get people that are not required to do this, and yet they come back out and they want to help get this done.
Every community should have projects like this that everyone can stand behind and support. So if you really like this, please come. We can use you.